YouTube en fait.
Oh punaise, tu m'as même pas dit.
Oui, ça sera sur YouTube. La Seine, Paris. Voilà.
Okay, bon.
Donc nous on est ici sur Paris. Je viens d'arriver. Forgot to get all this crap out of the way. Hello. Here we go. Okay. How is everyone doing? It's been like 2 weeks since the last video, I think. Oh, what am I trying to do? Let's get comfortable. Anyway, hello. Salut les amis. This is me again, Caleb Hall Freeman, for another video. Today I wanted to talk about just kind of like recap my holidays and my vacation, my Christmas vacation. So I did a lot of things. As you all know, I'm in Cannes, France right now, and I am looking to make sure nobody's watching me film this. Anyway, and I got to get out of town. So for those of you that didn't know, France, we are still on kind of a semi-lockdown. And right before Christmas, on the 15th of December, they opened everything up for interdepartmental, basically statewide within France, travel for the Christmas and kind of New Year season, so people could get away, go where they needed to go to be with their families or friends, and then try to do their best to stay there and celebrate there. So I sort of did this. I got to go to Paris and I spent some time with some people there that I know for the actual day of Christmas and a little bit leading up to that. And then I also went to Normandy and Brittany. That's good. My first stop was I stayed just outside of a place in Paris called Moulin, and there I stayed with some old friends and people that I've known for a few years now, and it was super fun. And it was kind of crowded because there were like, I think 5 kids and then like 4 adults, 5 adults. I don't know. Thankfully, the house was big enough for all of us, so. But it was a little hectic, but I had my own room and I could kind of just like escape whenever I wanted to, so it was nice. Oh, I just burned. I don't know if you heard that. And so, it was very nice. And while there, I got there on the 21st, so before the actual day of Christmas, I had the opportunity to go to Paris, in and out of Paris, like, during the day with my friend that I was staying with. And, she and I had a great time. Unfortunately, so the situation in Paris at that time, and I think it still is, it is the same, is as in France, January 20th was supposed to be the open date for all museums, theaters, cinemas, bars, restaurants, cafes. But they have since said that that's not going to be the opening date, and they've not given us a new date, so as to keep the hype down and the excitement and the anticipation, because people are getting really excited about those dates and then they're coming and we're not opening like we said we would. Long story short, all that stuff was closed, and so all there really was to do was shopping, because shopping has been open. All the little stores and department stores have been opened up again for the season to kind of boost the economy. I think here am I trying to be an economist. Economists. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so there was shopping, and Paris, like, thankfully there, and all the outdoor monuments and stuff to see. But I've kind of seen all that stuff like 1,000 times already, so it is still breathtaking. It is still something cool to see. Spots. I've named him Spots. Or Louis, I can't decide yet, but Louis or Spots. That's the cat that comes by all the time, and my neighbor actually leaves tuna cans out for him I can't imagine what kind of other vermin and creatures that attracts, but he actually leaves cans of tuna out for this cat. I have just tried to communicate with it, and it won't communicate back with me. Where'd you go? Viens. Louis, viens. Oh, punaise. Bon bah. Okay, so I did some shopping, and I was with a really good friend named Gertrude. Yes, that is Gertrude. We'll just leave it at that. Mostly shopping. I'm trying to think of some cool things that I saw, but we just did shopping. There was one really cool time we went to a place called Montmartre. It's a district, kind of like a quartier. It's like a little part of the city. And I wish I could tell you which arrondissement it is in, but I really don't know. I want to say the 11th? 12th? I don't know. Anyway, so we went to Montmartre, and I really enjoyed that because it was a place I really didn't get to, I haven't ever really taken the time to see, and there are these really famous steps in Montmartre that just lead up towards le Sacré-Cœur. Sacré-Cœur is a big basilica, a big basilica on one of the only hills in Paris. And it has, in my opinion, one of the greatest views. It was actually open, so you can go inside the church, and there's a dome, and you can actually go to the very top of the dome, and that is the best view of Paris, in my opinion, because you see all the monuments, you get to see it from way far up, you get to pay much less than going to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and it's kind of a different thing that maybe not everybody knows about, although it is kind of it's a very well-known monument attraction in Paris. So we did that, and in Montmartre it's like something called, if I'm not mistaken, Quartier des Artistes or something like that, like the artists' neighborhood. And especially during the spring and the summer, you have lots of like artists and people taking your portrait and drawing, and musicians and people selling things. There was some of that, but on this day that we went, it was extremely windy. Also, it rained so much, which was also a bummer because we were walking around and going, like, doing things outdoors and going from shop to shop. So it was very, it sucked. I ate some great things. I don't know, maybe I'll put the images up here, or videos. Ate some good food. Ce sont des macarons de Pierre Hermé, les meilleurs. N'allez pas chez la Durée. N'allez pas chez la Durée. T'en penses quoi, Gigi?
Moi j'aime les macarons trop.
Quelle vue! There's a place, I am gonna do a shout out for all of those people watching this video. It's called Choco Gwen. It's actually called Gwen Choc. Gwen Choc. Like chocolat. So G-W-E-N, Gwen, C-H-O-C, with a space. Gwen Choc. Can't even do a shout out. It was a boulangerie. Here we go, I'm gonna give you the Paris guide. You take the metro 11 or 1. Write this down. 11 or 1. So, anyway. And you stop at Hôtel de Ville. You get off at Hôtel de Ville, you take the exit 7. You go to Rue du Temple. You get out Rue du Temple at Hôtel de Ville. You'll see Notre-Dame de Paris in the distance when you get out. You walk towards Notre-Dame de Paris, the main street. On your right, it'll be called Choco Gwen. You will have the best eclair you have ever had in your life. It's the best eclair I've ever had. They had all these different, like the choux bun pastry part was perfect, and last time I did the pastry video on the Paris-Brest, that was very good. This was like even better. I have never had one so good. The chocolate, I went back twice, but they have all these different interesting like not so classic flavors that I wanted to try. The best one, so I had one that was called the Rocher, and it's kind of like Ferrero, like if you can think of a Ferrero Rocher chocolate thing. It had the hazelnuts, the yummy chocolate. It was all like super cracky and crunchy and nice chocolatey on top, and then inside you had all these hazelnuts and praline, and then the crème pâtissière inside as well that was also praline flavor, and then the chocolate was all on top with nuts, and it was so good. And then I had a lime lime and coconut eclair, which was lime and coconut eclair, which was so good. And on top it was like this lime infused chocolatey, I don't even know what any of the terms are, I wish I did. Watching the Great British Bake Off has not helped me enough, but it is so good. You all have to go. I also had a very good falafel, which, because I was trying to try like different things. I like falafel, very, very good. Rue des Rosiers, if you ever go there. And then I ate it at the steps of a church that I just this was the funnest part of this trip. All I could do was just walk around outdoors. And it was so pleasant to just like stop wherever I wanted to stop and just eat whatever thing I stumbled upon. Another day I went to a place called Quartier Latin. It's kind of like another little place, mostly in the 5th arrondissement, that one I am sure of, in Paris. And it's where the Sorbonne is, where the Académie de Paris is, where Lycée Louis le Grand is. There's a big library there. And I spent hours in these bookstores. I bought a lot of books. Because that's kind of a weakness of mine, and I feel like you can always justify spending money on a book, especially if it's like less than $10. This is just like cultural vomit explosion. I'm just talking about everything, but that's kind of like the fun parts. And so I bought like all these books for like 3-4 euros. So it was like each book was 3 or 4 euros. So very cool. I got to go to a beautiful cemetery called Père Lachaise. It is a really cool place. Unfortunately, like it was open, but the shop, oh my gosh, the tourist office where they hand out these maps, because it is a massive cemetery, to show you where all these people are buried so you can go find them, was closed. And then that day, I actually forgot my phone at where I was staying, and I didn't have it all day long. I didn't realize until I was already basically almost in Paris, and I didn't have my phone. So I couldn't take any photos, and then I also could not take photos of the map that they had provided outside to show you where all these people are buried. The reason why this is important is because in this cemetery, there are like, today, they are still burying people in it, I think, but it's mostly for very like wealthy people, or at the time, and there are a lot of very well-known like historical figures, cultural figures that are buried there. Not to name a few, to mention a few. Jim Morrison, Edith Piaf, Oscar Wilde, Bellini, Verdi is buried there, Rossini is buried there, Pissarro the painter is buried there, Maria Callas, the opera singer, whom I'm not the biggest fan of. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of her. Anyway, is buried there. Apollinaire is buried there, French writer. Lots of different people are buried there. And so unfortunately, it was raining as well, and I had a very crummy umbrella, so it was hard to just like, I ended up giving up and my hands were frozen, so I just like didn't get to see everybody, but I did see, oh, I saw Chopin's grave. Chopin is buried there. So that was really cool. I was very happy. I didn't get to see Edith Piaf like I wanted, and I didn't get to see Oscar Wilde, but I'll go back someday. Moving on. Okay, so the next place I went to was 2 different regions in France, called Normandy and Brittany. These are 2 places I had never ever been to that I had always wanted to go to. Unfortunately, there's not very much footage, so sorry. I'm still trying to get better about like living in the, like, I really would rather just live in the moment, but I'm really trying to like make these videos and like live in the moment through my camera, and yet still live in the moment and be able to take enough footage to make a video. Leave a comment below. So I went with 4 friends that I'm pretty good friends with, and we went in a car that we were just borrowing, and no one has their license. Here in France, it's extremely expensive and a very long process to get your license. So either they're my age, 24, 25, 26, even one of them was 26, and none of them had their license. So I was the only one that was able to drive, but it's a fun, if you ever have an experience, like the opportunity to drive in France, do it, take it. Even like, it's just so much fun, and we were going through little towns and villages and hills and green fields, and it was a manual car. I love driving stick shift, so it's just like, it was so fun. It was super fun. I highly recommend it. So the first place we went to were the Falaises des Trottas. Monet went there to paint, you know, in his day, and it used to be a boating dock. I'm not going to pretend once again to know all the history of this place, but it used to be a shipyard, and now it is no longer that. It's mostly a tourist attraction. It's a very easy hike. I really recommend it if you go. It's really fun, beautiful, breathtaking. The countryside landscape there is very rugged, and it's right along the English Channel, so it's very windy, very rainy, especially at that time of year we went, very cold, but it was well worth it, and just beautiful, breathtaking. Over there wasn't much to do, especially because everything is closed, and it is quite a very small town.
Ça passe bien.
La reine Elisabeth II.
Tu prends la vidéo?
En plus, trop mignonne avec son sac de biscuits. On se dit, mais où est-ce qu'elle a trouvé son sac de biscuits en la falaise?
Un parapluie, pour la reine, La reine Elisabeth.
So from there we went to Caen. We stayed in Caen. It's a city still in Normandy, and it's very well known for this chateau that we visited.
Ah, vous êtes pas cool. Mais non, ouais, je voulais faire genre bonjour, vous pouvez rentrer chez moi. Allez-y.
Mon humble demeure.
C'est là.
Voilà, c'est un peu petit, mais bon, voilà. On n'a pas de chauffage.
Ça va, on va pas se plaindre.
Voilà, le froid. J'espère que ça vous ira quand même. Je parle ma clé.
Quand même.
The next day, we went to a really cool place called Le Mont Saint-Michel. Mont Saint-Michel is... I need to look this up. Basically, over history, my friend Alvin was talking to us about it. Alvin was saying that it's like... It used to be inhabited, and then it became an abbey. And then it was, during the 100 Years' War, kind of fought over between the French and the English. And then the French decided to fortify it in order to protect it more.
Mont Saint-Michel, que l'on confirme appartenir aux Normands. Très fier, les Normands de leur Mont Saint-Michel.
Fille de la terre. Ça se dit?
Bah oui, précis. Dans mon langage, tout.
Moi, tout passe. Moi, je suis fille de la terre.
Accessoirement SDF aussi.
And then after the 100 Years' War, obviously France kept it, and now it's mostly just commercial and touristy. I believe there are a few inhabitants on the island itself, but it's mostly a tourist attraction now. It reminded me of some sort of fairy tale, mythical Hogsmeade of a place. Very amazing, like super cool. Unfortunately, once again, all the restaurants, all the fun stuff was closed, even the Abbey was closed, so we couldn't actually even see a lot, but it was worth it, and it's free. You get on a free bus that takes you across the bridge to the island, if you will, and then the entrance onto the island is free as well. So I recommend it. It's just getting there. It's way up on the coast. It's not quite an island, I guess, because when you see around it, it's surrounded by mud and land, but when the tide comes in, it becomes surrounded by water. So it's very cool. So there is like a bridge road, if you will, elevated road that takes you to it. Another thing we did, we also went to another fortified medieval, I think it's not quite medieval, it's after that, period of time. Saint-Malo, and Saint-Malo is right on the coast. It is beautiful. During the summer, it's actually a very like well-known spot for tourists, and especially a lot of Parisians, because it's not too far away. It's only about 2.5 hours away from Paris. 3 hours. Go up to Saint-Malo. 3.5 hours. Go up to Saint-Malo, and during the summer and holiday time, it's very beautiful. We went and it was very cold and very windy and very rainy, but that's also Normandy and Bretagne, so it rains a lot there, especially because they're right along the English Channel, so it's kind of like that classic English weather, if you will, I guess. And so that was very cool. Once again, we were all doing this within, I can't remember, I think it was 3 or 4 days, and so trying to shove all of this driving and all of these, you know, sites into that short amount of time was quite a feat, and I say we did fairly well. We saw quite a few things, and I don't feel like we were too rushed, but we were against the clock because in France there was a curfew and for 8 o'clock. Now it is 6 p.m. 6 p.m. In French there's a saying, métro, boulot, dodo, which means metro, work, sleep. That's what life is right now. I come straight home, I go to, you know, I don't even go to bed, but it's quite sad. Anyway, so, but at the time it was 8 o'clock, now it's 6 o'clock. So we were also just trying to make sure we were back, you know, sometimes we'd have to count for like up to an hour of driving or 2 hours of driving back to get back to where we were staying, the central location where we were staying in Caen. So, So in Saint-Malo, we didn't get a lot of time to just like dilly-dally or see things. So after Saint-Malo, we drove to a place called near Caen, which is les plages du débarquement, the D-Day beaches. And we, unfortunately, the actual place where you can go see all the crosses along the beach, you know, is protected and it was closed. So you can't actually go see it right now. We were just on the beaches themselves. But we did find a really cool bunker that we kind of explored and went in. I don't think I even have any photos or videos of that bunker, but it was very cool. A lot of it's been preserved. A lot of it's also kind of not been preserved. I felt like we kind of stumbled upon it and it was just this random concrete kind of a few rooms in the hill that we found. But the beaches are beautiful and we had a really lovely sunset, so.
L'une des grosses quais. C'est quoi?
As always, please like the video, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I'm trying to keep the videos kind of coming more fast. I'm going to be doing a few videos in the future, one of which will be a haul for all the kind of the fun stuff that I bought in Paris. It won't be very long because I mostly did my shopping in a really cool thrift shop there, which I will explain later. And I've had a lot of questions about the actual program TAPIF that I'm doing. A lot of you don't know, but when I came, I actually had a horrible time getting everything going here. Down from opening my bank account, starting work, my schedule. I had an apartment fiasco where I was scammed. I also had a really hard time just getting life going. It took me about a month and a half to get everything really finally going. And I think that was particularly special, like significant and important, like more linked to the time in which I've come here during the coronavirus and whatnot. But I do think that people who are asking questions about this program need to know that there were some roadblocks, and I'm going to be making a video more specifically about the program, but I think that it could be of interest to everyone because it has to do a lot with how life was going at that time. Anyway, so thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment below if there are any more videos that you want to hear about. I love you all. Have a very good day, and salut les amis. Bye!
Mais quel est-tu?